Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Hot Seat for the C-Suite. I'm your host, Stefan Lubinsky, and this is the program where we get right to it. We skip the intros, the fluff, and all the stuff that nobody really cares about, and we get right to the most important 7 questions for a business, whether you're thinking about being a buyer or whether you're thinking about being an investor. Today's episode, I want to welcome Dave Hazzard. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well, and this is the Hot Seat for the C-Suite, so you are the CEO of?
iSync Media. We're an international, basically digital out-of-home company that's emerging in the market.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the program. I really appreciate you that you are willing to jump into this hot seat and answer these 7 questions in 60 seconds. I put the clock up. You'll be able to see it right there. Let me get my mouse ready so I can turn it on when I ask the first question. And the first question obviously is the problem. What problem are you solving and who are you solving it for?
Well, the problems that we solve are probably twofold. One is from a venue operator and hospitality side, and the other is for an advertiser. And what we do is we bring those two groups together. The venue operators, you've been reading about a lot of this in the news. Probably every week there's somebody that's going bankrupt because of costs, different things like that. What we do we help them create a profit center in their restaurant that never existed before. Basically take a 7-inch radius on a table and turn it into a profit center. The other thing that we do for the advertiser side, these are the people who pay for this, we actually open up a new market for them that allows them to connect better, target better, and communicate better with the customer. So it's really a 2-pronged approach that we have as far as problem solving.
So in a way, you have 2 customers. You have both the restaurant or venue owner, and then I assume that's restaurants, bars. Is there anything else that falls under venue?
No, well, we could go into stadiums, could be casinos, anything that
Okay.
has large groups of people that congregate for an extended period of time.
Okay, so they're a customer, and then of course the advertisers are also a customer in a sense, right? So that's really interesting. All right, here we go. Question 2. You nailed that one under 60 seconds. The opportunity. How big is this opportunity? Whether that's market size or market cap, however you want to define the size of the opportunity.
I would say the opportunity is massive. In the United States alone, there's over 1 million restaurants, bars, taverns, different things like that. So each one of these is a potential customer of ours. Now, initially and stuff, we go after larger venues, but as the platform grows, it will be able to incorporate a lot smaller mom and pop type, and the advertising platform continues to grow. And international wise, there's probably another potential 6 to 8 million restaurants that we could go into. The footprint potentially is massive. So the opportunity is massive also. As far as advertising wise, advertisers want to connect with people. They want to do it efficiently, and we offer that avenue for them as well.
Awesome. All right. Next question is really getting into the solution to the problem. So this is your opportunity to tell us really more about the actual product itself, the interface, and how your approach to this problem that both the venue owners have, perhaps in lack of an additional revenue channel or other ways to provide an enhanced experience for their guests, and then the problems that you're solving for advertisers and trying to reach these people in locations. So talk to us about your solution. Let me reset the clock. Go.
Well, okay, the solution itself looks very simple. We put a screen or screens on a table. Those screens sell advertising. And it's not specifically, when we talked about benefits, there are more benefits as far as upsell, increased profitability for the restaurant. But what we do is we bring the advertising industry into the restaurant and put it in a place where it's never been done before. Advertisers are able to connect with the restaurant customer. They're willing to pay for that. And the restaurant owner shares in that revenue stream. So What we're doing is we basically, like I said, we create a profit center where none ever existed before. And it's substantial enough to where an owner, gladly and stuff is putting these devices on his table. And the nice thing about it is that they do it at no charge. We put that in at no cost to the venue operator.
Oh, okay. That's great. That definitely lowers the barrier to entry, and that is definitely an important point to notice. I almost think that this is the modern version. Remember those old diners in the 60s and 70s, and the placemats would have all of the local businesses that were advertising, and this is how the restaurant actually paid for all of those placemats. I don't know that they were necessarily making money, but they
Exactly, and
certainly.
really the genesis of this whole platform came from the fact that I used to own 40 restaurants, and I was in tech also, but I also owned these restaurants, and I realized those paper costs. There's a cost to that table tent and all the stuff that goes on. Let's
That's right.
digitize it, and this really it's developed into much more than that because these devices actually communicate with smartphones. So it's
Oh, wow.
much more complex than just a placemat. But that's really the
Yeah, no,
genesis.
for sure. For sure, for sure. Okay, so I just meant that advertisers being in the restaurant. All right, so now let's talk about the traction. So, what traction have you had that, whether it's making customers feel comfortable that you guys know what you're doing and that the devices work, or whether it's investors that want to know that they're investing in a company that's got some traction so far?
Yeah, the idea for this came quite a few years ago, and we patented the technology. But unfortunately, we were ahead of the curve when it came to smartphone technology. But we have gone through extensive development and testing since 2015, multiple trial runs for advertisers and venues. And we've tested this product immensely. So we have a market-ready product that, if it was manufactured, it would be on the tables today. So it's
Okay,
very simple.
awesome. The vision. What is the long-term vision for the company?
Well, we'd like to be the largest digital out-of-home advertising company in the world. We think that with the
Okay.
footprint that's out there, potentially we could do that. But the whole idea is to basically exploit and get this on as many tables and bars as we possibly can. And the vision and stuff is to grow the company, but also help the hospitality industry. I have some roots there, and the struggles that they're going through with labor costs, efficiency costs, things like that. I think that we can make a huge impact and stuff going forward with them. But that's the long-term vision is grand, but it's obtainable. Put it that way.
Okay, well, that's always great for the company and the investors. And the obstacle, what is the biggest obstacle to kind of getting there from here currently?
Well, I could sit there and repeat the word funding, for 60 seconds, but but that's probably the biggest obstacle that we face is the funding side of it, and that's with investors and stuff. I would say that the platform is hardware centric. There's a lot of hardware
Mhm.
to it, though we have lots of software and key neat things that back it up. The first thing that they look at is that, wow, you're going to need this much over the next 5 years in hardware, and that's probably the biggest obstacle. But when you look at the metrics and stuff that go into it, each one of these devices pays for itself within probably 8 months. So it's an extremely efficient recurring revenue model. But funding,
Sure.
that's definitely, talking to people. It's not a software product, and
Right.
it's got a considerable hardware footprint.
Got it. All right, and the last question here is what's next? What is kind of next on the org chart, or what's? I mean, obviously, I get that funding is the biggest challenge. So while you're working through your funding, what is kind of the next move, milestone, or whatever that you guys are excited about?
Yeah, beyond funding, it's simple. It's launch the network. We have gone through the proof of performance. We know that that we can scale to the millions of screens quickly. That's not a problem. So the market launch will be the next obstacle or event that happens here in the near future. We're targeting the Dallas, Austin, Houston metro areas, and Kansas City as our first stop, and then we move through it. We have a large distribution partner which operates in 300,000 restaurants already across the United States. So
Wow.
we're going to be working with them hand in hand to service as many of those restaurants as we possibly can. Yeah, the next step here is network launch. It's ready to go.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. Well, Dave, you did it. You made it through all 7 questions. You managed to answer them succinctly in under 60 seconds. So let's just take a few minutes here. Let me ask you one of the questions that came into my mind as you were describing this from an advertising perspective. Is there an eyeball CPM aspect to this? And then how does that work? And so what I mean by that is when I sold television advertising, we sold that as cost per thousand, and you would take a look at what the ratings were, and that effectively did the math to say how much the advertiser paid. So what is a model when you're talking about a restaurant? You've got a device on a table. How do the advertisers, or how do you know? Is it based on how many people were in that restaurant? Does a busier restaurant make more money, or is it based on the number of units? So fill in, I guess, a little bit of the advertising math.
Yeah, it's you understand it quite well if you were dealing with CPM models. There is a CPM that's involved here in digital out of home. A little bit different because it's not exact viewers, but even there, you know that it's the number of potential viewers that can see a product. And so yeah, it's a CPM based. We're able to serve the ads though programmatically. So just like Meta, just like Google, we go into programmatic exchanges and can sell in real time. So that's definitely makes it CPM driven. And
Okay,
there's
terrific.
a range. Yeah, it's
and you mentioned earlier that it's kind of addressable advertising, smart advertising was kind of the precursor. I know we were talking about the fact that you guys are already using AI and machine learning, and you've got a roadmap for more AI features. But I'm going to assume that because demographics are different for different restaurants, right? So certainly higher end restaurants or just higher per person check restaurants versus fast casual versus a quick serve, and so. Does the advertising kind of match that? So that we know what kind of people, we know the demographics that are in this restaurant, and so it gets served different advertising than, let's say, another one of your restaurant clients. I guess what I'm asking is, it's not one ubiquitous model where all units in all restaurants are displaying the exact same ads. Is that correct?
You're correct. You nailed it. That's pretty much every restaurant or venue is their own micro network. They are served unique advertising. They're served unique content, whether it's ESPN, financial news, weather, and of course the restaurant's content piece on that also. We didn't get into what the content is that much, but yeah, everything is very unique to that restaurant. And that's the magic here is our data gathering. We haven't really hit on that as well because of the time elements, but the data gathering. We're going to a cookieless society now. The third and fourth party data accumulating has kind of fallen by the wayside. So we deal with first party data and zero party data. So it's extremely important. But yeah, everything is highly targeted. And one of the things on the roadmap is not only to target it with the restaurant, receiving the same feed, but we'll be able to go into that table at some point and feed unique advertising. It's all set up to the particular people who are sitting at that table. So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Dave, if people are interested in finding out more, whether it's to possibly be a customer as a venue owner or possibly an advertiser, what's the best way for them to follow up and get in touch, Dave?
Go ahead and send it to my personal email. That's the best way. Probably david.hazzard, and that's with 2 Z's, at iSyncmedia.com. And that's the best way to reach me, because if you try to do it through any other other means and stuff, it kind of loses, It's
no worries. We will put that up on the screen so it's easy for people to see. I want to thank you again for being a guest here on the Hot Seat for the C-Suite. I want to wish you all the luck with iSync Media. And if you folks out there know somebody that is the CEO or a member of the C-Suite for a startup emerging business that you think needs their story told, get a hold of me. You can find me. It's easy. Just Google me. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.